Hi, Liv. Nice to see you. There's obviously been a bit of a break since the last game. How have you enjoyed that chance to reset? But also, how much are you looking forward to getting back out on the pitch on Sunday?
Yeah, first off, obviously, Happy New Year, and I hope you guys had a safe and good break. I thought the break for me, obviously, we had just over a week, was really good. I went down to the Isle of Wight, which is where some of my family are, so it was nice to refresh, see my dog, and still tick over, but it's good for the mind to have a little break, especially as I've got a big year coming up. So I think, that was nice, but it's been great to be back in, see all the girls. Everyone's happy because we've all had a good break and we can talk about our times with our family. And, the football's been good. I don't think we look that far off it for having 10 days off, so I'm excited for the year.
Glad to hear it. Congratulations also on your call up today for the two games against America later this month. Great news for you. And how important is it for you to have that international experience in terms of progression of your own game?
Yeah, I think, I want to play for my national team at every opportunity I get. And, it's a massive call from Celtic to support me. It's obviously not a FIFA window, and that's, a big step. We've had conversations with the club, and my national team are really thankful that I've been released to be able to play those games. So yeah, it's a massive thank you for Celtic for that. But I'm looking forward to it. We're growing. The World Cup is at home, so it's a big year for New Zealand football.
Turning to the game on Sunday, as we discussed with Fran earlier, Falkirk are a couple of divisions below Celtic. Celtic going to the game strong favourites, which isn't an entirely unusual position to find yourselves in. But how important is it to avoid complacency in a tie like this?
Yeah, it's always massive, but I think we've done really well this week to focus on ourselves, our own tempo, our own style of play, and that's what we're going to bring this weekend. As long as we play well and we get back into the flow of things, that's the most important thing, and hopefully the goals and win will follow.
Absolutely. And obviously coming into the new year, there'll be plenty of league action back home at the Excelsior Stadium as well. How important is it for you and the girls for the fans to come along and support you in these games and to see a good turnout?
Yeah, I think everyone plays better with a good crowd behind them, and I think it's important for Scotland, as a nation, to get behind the women's side of football. And it is a different experience, but it's something that's continuously growing. So the more fans that we can get to watch our games, the better we'll continue to perform.
You scored for New Zealand against Japan, I think it was, at the end of last year. And obviously, you had the Scottish Cup final success as well with Celtic. So that was two massive achievements. But for you talked about this year, and maybe a double for Celtic and performing well at the World Cup. Was that the targets?
Yeah, that would be the dream, to finish the Celtic season with the cup and the league title, and obviously for our national team to get out the group would be the first time that we've got out of that. So those are definitely my two goals coming into the year. So far, the Scottish Cup final's been my favourite game in a Celtic shirt.
The players that were at the club in May, have you been telling the new players about how special a day it was at Tynecastle last May?
Yeah, I think if you ask them, we've probably talked about it too much and not let them forget it. So I think we're all itching to get back there, and obviously this Sunday is the first step.
I'd asked Fran about, but as a player, with the interpretation of the handball rule being a bit vague in Scottish football these days, does that concern you if you're defending?
Well, luckily, I'm not defending too much at the moment in my position, but not particularly, because in training, Fran gets it wrong a lot of the time. So we just have to learn to play on and deal with what the ref or coach says at the time.
Just really from me, in terms of, you've mentioned your big year, David there mentions you scoring for your national team and the big games you've had for Celtic. This Celtic team really solid in defence and quite an attacking style that Fran's going for. In terms of your personal way that you're playing football and the way you're training, is there anything that you're working on for this season and for this year?
Yeah, I think overall, I'm not sure if you've noticed my positional change a little bit recently. So I think that is a big focus for me that I think will help me personally for both club and country. It gives me a little bit more freedom and it lets me attack, but also, work on the other side of the game, defending, which is important in the big games and for the international style of play that my national team has.
Yeah, is there stuff that you feel like that really contributes, that working with different coaches and different players that you can bring back to your club?
Yeah, I think it's important to try use both environments to the best of my ability and really push me on. And I think it's important to make sure that my fitness levels stay high for both. And, the main thing really for every player is to be healthy and to be firing. So it's getting that balance of working hard and training, and hopefully it also goes out onto the field.
Yeah, mentioning that, just quickly, you mentioned fitness in the cup final. That was a huge part of winning that cup final, was that the squad had that level of fitness. Is that a focus for the team in training to keep that as high as possible, obviously, this season?
Yeah, I think, that's a key example. Having to play a lot of that game with 10 players was, a big ask, but we actually felt very comfortable. And I think that's down to our fitness levels, and that's the intensity that we want to train at and be able to move it on to the games. So it's important for me to make sure that I'm working hard in trainings, and it also makes the game easier for you if you've got that high fitness level. You're not really focusing on running back and forth because it's not a thought. You're just enjoying the ball and enjoying defending.